and welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I am John Stenning, and I am joined by my fellow amateurs talking pros. That's what we're going to call this series of podcasts now. Brian St. Pierre, Cal Goodhouse. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, John.
Thanks for coming, you guys. The 2024 cycling season is upon us. Did you know it started on December 1st?
No.
I think maybe I kind of knew that, but I mean, we got like 2 weeks until Tour Down Under, so
Yeah, 2 weeks until Tour Down Under.
That's
true.
Practically here.
So what starts on December 1st? Cross?
No, like that like Tour of Guangxi in China was actually like on like the first week of December.
Oh, wow.
Which are kind of not real races. They're like sort of ceremonial crits and stuff.
Sure.
But those are technically, even though riders' contracts don't work that same way, and they're wearing last year's kit still, because like, you know, Wout would be racing in his Jumbo Visma stuff, not his Visma Lisa bike stuff, which I guess we'll get into that too. But yeah, technically it starts on December 1st.
And they can go train with their new teams?
They can still train with their new teams, but like when they're racing, they have to be wearing the 2023 stuff still, which is really weird and confusing. But let's make things less confusing, and we'll start with like a look back at 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of people, the Vuelta happened, and you stop paying attention to cycling a little bit. There is an off season, even though people are sort of racing all of the time. And I think Brian, not to put you on the spot, but that sort of is your perspective, right?
Yes.
From what has happened in the off season, at least, right?
Yes.
But
I have not been following it
Yeah, I'm not
super closely.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes.
There's a lot of things going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But like 2023, let's talk about that. What were some standouts? I think Matthew Van Der Poel, as much as I hate to say it, was like one of the biggest standouts of the season.
He definitely had probably his best season ever.
Yeah.
Of course, winning the World Championships. 2 years ago, he didn't complete the World Championships.
He started, but he didn't finish, right?
He had gotten arrested the night before for throwing a
teenage girl to the ground.
Teenage girl to the ground.
That is factual.
In his hotel room.
Yeah.
And then, so this year he was back with a vengeance. Seeing him win Worlds is probably the low point of my cycling viewership.
Okay.
That day was actually the same day as the Greasy John's gravel ride that we did. So
yes. Oh, wow. I remember this. I avoided it all day.
Yeah. I had a wonderful day out on the bike with our club. And then I got home and I put on the replay and watched several hours of the pros lapping around Glasgow. And
That sucks.
yeah, and it was a great, you had Pogačar, you had Wout.
Yeah, Pog's in third, Wout's in second.
Remco got dropped early.
Yep.
Who's the fourth one who was up there with them?
I only have the first three.
Anyway,
Sorry, I only have top three.
and Van Der Poel ends up just
He rides away with it.
rides away,
Yeah.
even crashes, but
Yeah.
still somehow gains time
Yeah.
despite crashing. So,
Yeah.
and I was rooting against him the whole time, but what can you do?
Yeah, he also wins Milan San Remo and Paris-Roubaix this year, and is also kind of the best lead-out man in cycling because Jasper did so well in all those other races.
Yeah, they had a great tour.
Yeah. Okay, enough about them. So let's talk about some of the other big names. Like, what about Pog? Pog had a pretty good year. Third at Worlds, which we talked about.
Pog absolutely had a fantastic year. He really, like Primoz and Jonas, every stage race that he raced at the start of the season, he won. The three of them racked up a ton of wins. Pog's sort of standout was the Spring Classics because he won Flanders.
Yep. Flesh
Which,
alone. Yeah.
For a Grand Tour winner to win a cobbled classic like that is
I don't remember.
relatively unheard of.
Do you remember
modern
watching
era.
any of these?
I watched Flanders for sure.
I mean, I'm sure I did, but I don't like really remember watching any of them. I think that's the thing about one-day races, that they just like don't stick with me as much, which is a Grand Tour you're watching 3 weeks or something. I don't know. Brian, do you remember like watching any of these specific races?
Did Pog do Paris-Roubaix?
Yeah.
No,
he didn't do Paris.
Okay, so I did maybe like one of my flip throughs of Flesh Wallon.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing him and watching it and being really like, wow.
I mean, he still was
This is
second at the
crazy.
Tour.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great year. He was
Yeah.
he was always up there. You know, obviously we were saying the Spring Classics. he really crushed. And then for all the other big stuff throughout the rest of the season that he was doing, he was up there making it interesting.
Yeah.
Defending his name. So.
And Pog this year also, I think really became more of a fan favorite than ever.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think so. I like him more than ever.
Yeah, same. He was a little bit more of a villain before,
Yeah.
but he's super entertaining. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Everyone loves him now.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this year, like continuing on that topic, I think just to see him not winning in the way that he, quote unquote,
Yes.
he
Right.
lost gracefully.
Right.
Like always a smile on his face. Even in, I think it was one of the tour stages when he like really bonked and lost a bunch of time. He crossed the line with a smile on his face and, admitted it, said, oh yeah, just lost it. And
Yeah. And then he still like
congratulated
raced.
Jonas.
And he still raced. Yeah, yeah.
he still gave it his all. And
Yeah.
I think that was when I really started liking him more.
Yeah, he's definitely become
To
like
see how he loses, and it's nice.
Yeah, so what else? Ruta de la Sol, which is, fine, whatever. It's an interesting way to like start the season. That's like early on. We have some other heavy hitters, right? So Primoz had a pretty good year. He wins Tirreno, Catalunya, and then the Giro, and comes in third at the Vuelta, right? Ends up third at the Vuelta. Obviously he won other things. He's going to a different team next year, but solid season for Primoz.
Great. His Giro win was pretty incredible, actually.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Yeah.
After Remco dropped out of the Giro, Geraint Thomas was in pink for I think the last week and a half or so.
Oh yes, it felt like forever.
Right up until the last day, and then Primoz had an amazing final time trial.
Yep.
And really was sort of redemptive for him because he had lost the
Yeah,
tour
with that goofy
a couple
helmet
years
thing.
before in a time trial similarly, and now he overtakes the leader and wins, and that's his fourth Grand Tour win. It's which I think is an important distinction. Only I think 11 riders in the history of the sport have ever won 5 Grand Tours. So
Wow.
For Primoz to win a few more Grand Tours would really solidify him as one of the best GC riders of this era.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that for a second. You're not wrong. Nothing that you said was wrong, but I can't wait to see some goofy helmet shit with this new helmet that he's rocking now that he's a specialized boy. He's going to be having that Darth Vader sock.
Yeah, the neck sock.
Yeah, the neck sock, and it's going to be like tilted back like this much.
The neck sock's going to be up over his nose.
Yeah, you just like his eyes are barely peeking through, like it's a really high turtleneck. Yeah.
So are you not a Primoz fan?
I'm not.
Oh, I don't know if I knew that about you.
No, I don't know why. I really don't know why. There's something about him. I want him to do well at Bora. Don't get me wrong. I think it's interesting that not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I do think it's interesting that he's on a different team this year. Like it's way more interesting than having him on Visma.
Yeah.
But,
it's going to be interesting.
I don't know if there's some undefinable quality about him that makes me just like not love him as much as I love some of the other people on that team. I mean, he's not on the team anymore, but
I think I wonder in international sports like this whether sort of knowledge of our language or people's accents and whether or not they're heavy accents or not sort of changes the way we interpret their personalities, because we're really only seeing them and judging them as people in their interviews.
Right. In the race tactics.
Sure.
I actually probably judge a rider more for their race tactics than I do than their off-bike interviews.
Yeah. I like to weigh them together.
There's also
I think it's important. Yeah.
Their social media presence for
sure.
a rider like Jonas has virtually no social media presence.
He has very little personality, really.
Pog seems like he's like
he's an influencer.
Gen Z TikTok.
Yeah.
I think I do think for me personally, I put a lot of weight on the interviews and how they interact with the interviewee.
Yeah.
And if they're showing them respect, and then also when they have interactions with other riders in those moments, off the cuff. And see how they interact.
Primos is really strange in interviews.
He is
Really standoffish, lies a lot, but like it's known that he's standoffish and he like fibs.
Yeah. Well, he was originally very standoffish, and I think they gave him some media training.
Yeah.
And he kind of became a bit more irreverent, kind of joking around more. He's just kind of like, he finishes a race, and there's sort of, he's just like, I don't know. Like,
Yes.
we will see.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Oh, there's more tomorrow. It's like, okay.
He, very much always seems like he has some kind of joke that only he knows about.
Yes.
That he's laughing
Yes,
a little
that's true.
bit.
That's true.
So
I don't think it's that about him. I don't know. To me, I don't know what it is.
No.
No, it's not that.
Well, so is he coming in? Did I read that he's coming into Bora as the GC number one?
definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
Okay.
He's a top 3 rider in the world, right?
Yeah.
He's a top 3 rider in the world.
So that
Yeah.
will be very interesting this tour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it's okay. Speaking of the tour, Jonas wins the tour. He back-to-backs the tour. He also came in 3rd in Paris-Nice. He wins Basque Country. He wins Dauphiné and 2nd at the Vuelta. Great year. Like, I think he couldn't be any happier with winning the tour and coming 2nd at the Vuelta. Maybe winning the Vuelta. I guess we'll never really know. Because the Vuelta, of course, was won by Sepp after riding 2 Grand Tours as well. And then all that drama that happened during the Vuelta with Jumbo, which was interesting. I think kept the race very interesting.
That was my high point of 2023. Like the Vuelta drama, it even like the Wall Street Journal was reporting on it.
Yeah.
It got crazy.
Yeah.
Sean Kelly was like apoplectic on GC Ed when when Jonas and Roglic looked like they were going to attack Sepp. They beat him on his birthday on the Angerlu.
Yeah. They dropped his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but not only was there a ton of drama at the Vuelta, even after it kept going. Like I've never been this, like I would wake up and check cycling news every day because pretty quickly after the Vuelta, all the rumors started going about Quick Step and
the merger that never happened.
and Jumbo merging.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was a sure thing at one point.
Yeah.
And could have been very bad for the sport.
We thought Remco was going somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. Like I never recall like this much of a news media rumor mill drama happening in pro cycling. And it was nuts.
It was. Yeah. But I mean, it all sort of changed, which is probably for the better.
Yeah, thank God the merger did not happen.
Yeah.
And as we said, Roglic is now on Bora.
That's right. In the women's pro tour, Lotto Kopecky and Demi Vollering just like absolutely dominate, and their team is just the best team in the world, more so than Jumbo-Visma. Lotto Kopecky, 2nd at Strade Bianche, 1st at Flanders, 2nd at Amstel Gold, 2nd at the Tour, and wins Worlds. And then Demi Vollering basically comes in first, all of those things that Lotto Kopecky came in 2nd in. Amstel Gold, Strade, 2nd in Flanders and Women's Worlds when she wins the Tour de France Femme and Flèche Wallonne and Liège, Bastogne Liège. And it's just wild how dominant those 2 riders are. Oh, and Tom Pidcock, he wins Strade Bianche, but then kind of fumbles the rest of the Grand Tour season. And Brian,
yep.
You added that.
I added
that he wins
mountain bike worlds.
Are you tracking that?
What do you mean?
Do you
tracking
think that's important for Pidcock?
Yeah.
Do you think it's important for his cycling career? Do you think it's just important for his psyche and so it helps him race? Like, why do you think, like, what is it about these dudes that don't just ride road? And how does that, like, it's more, like, mountain bike seems fun, don't get me wrong, right? But, like, do you think the rest of his season suffers because of something like that?
Potentially.
I mean, he didn't have a great season.
Yeah,
He even says it.
If he continued to have a great season after that, then I would have said yes. So I mean, I'm not a pro rider, so I don't know. I think maybe it did suffer. Maybe he took a little bit of time off after to celebrate, or
yeah. I mean, I also think it's perfectly valid to just
tell.
spend a year focusing on the mountain bike.
Yeah, but I also feel like had he not won this year, it would have been something he'd still want to do. So now it's like he did that.
Right. Move on.
Now check mark.
Right.
Now
he has the cyclocross worlds already.
Yeah, right. So now it's
Could he
back
win
onto the
Road
road
Worlds?
season for this year. Did you watch the cafe ride video?
No.
yet? Oh, yeah. He talked about it a little bit, and he definitely has a full road season.
Oh, yeah. I
focus
mean,
for
he
this
has said that he
upcoming year.
didn't have the best tour, and he like had a basically wasn't like focused enough on the right
Yeah.
things. Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
that's
but
interesting. I like Pidcock a lot.
I just specifically wanted to note it because I like Pidcock. He's very
Yeah, me too.
entertaining.
Yeah,
He's a fun rider to watch, and I know we all like him.
yeah. He's
And
fun.
it was a big achievement for him. And because he was a crossover, obviously, I don't watch mountain bike stuff, so I'm not gonna start talking about all different mountain bike things.
Yeah.
But
No, I do think
Yeah.
it's important to mention it. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, and the one guy we haven't mentioned, wow, also kind of a disappointing season, but he did win E3 and the Tour of Britain. E3 sort of exciting. Tour of Britain not really that exciting. I think Jumbo won all but one stage of that, or maybe they won every single stage, and Wout won most of them, and like Christophe Laporte won another or something.
Is it Olaf Koy, I think?
Oh, Olaf
Koy.
Yeah, they were
He
absolutely
won, like,
dominant. Yeah.
2 or 3 stages with
Yeah.
Wout right behind him.
And Wout did have second in Worlds, third at Milan San Remo, and
Yeah.
third at Paris Roubaix. But it still seemed
Yeah.
like on paper, not what people were hoping for Wout to have in terms of a season.
Yeah. Just always kind of falling just short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Mechanicals
must have
or
been
whatever.
frustrating. Yeah, I think that was a low point for me this season was that flat in Paris Roubaix.
Yeah.
Because he would have stayed up there.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Yeah.
just bad luck.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that stood out for last year before we move on?
Wow, I'm forgetting her name in the moment. But the
Oh, yes. Allison Jackson.
Allison Jackson,
Her Paris Roubaix.
winning
was sick.
Paris Roubaix.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, absolutely sick. Okay, so we're doing a new thing. It's called a hype meter. We're doing the hype meter. We're going to look forward to 2024. We're going to talk about some transfers. We're going to talk about some races. But what we're going to do is we're going to hype meter these things as we go through them. And the way that we decided to do our hype meters was with Shimano group set offerings. Okay, so this is like a scale of 1 to 6, if you will, and it starts at Claris, then goes to Sora, then Tiagra, then the gentleman's group set 105 to Ultegra to Dura Ace. Okay, so that's the sort of ranking. If we think something is like going to be the best or is like big news, that's Dura Ace. If we think something is relatively meh, right, that's down to Sora, Claris. Hopefully everyone understands. Do you guys understand? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I understand.
Great. We're going to talk about transfers first, okay?
All right.
So we're going to start the conversation with transfers. A lot of rumors. So we talked about the Jumbo and Quick-Step merger that like never happened. There were all these rumors around like Remco going somewhere. Maybe he was going to go to Ineos. I feel like there are still chats about that, but I don't think anything else big is going to happen before the season starts. I think that's sort of safe to assume. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing I think that did end up happening was Primož Sabora that we talked about.
Yeah.
So let's rank on our hype meter. And Brian, I'll start with you. How do you feel about Primož moving to Bora on the hype meter?
I feel like that's pretty big.
You're gonna you're setting the standard right here on the hype meter.
I gotta go maybe Ultegra.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Do you want to explain why, or do you want to just let Cal have the floor?
Let's let Cal have the floor.
You should.
Oh, okay. I think it's Dura Ace.
Okay.
I think it's Dura Ace. I think it's a huge move. I think it breaks up the people at Visma Lisa Bike, and I think it makes Bora an actual contender, whereas before, sure, they were winning with like Jay Vine. Is he on that team? Is he a UAE?
He's on Bora.
At Tour Down Under, right? Which is good. You're an Australian brand, but like, are they Australian? No, not really. They're German.
Did Jay Vine
They have a lot
transfer?
Their Bora Hansgrohe is German, but they have a lot of.
Oh, no.
He was on UAE.
He's German.
Maybe I was wrong.
Oh, he's a UAE.
Yeah.
What? Oh, my God.
Jai Hindley.
That's who I'm thinking of,
Jai
Jai Hindley.
Hindley, sure.
That's who I'm thinking
Very
He's on
similar
Bora.
names.
Yes.
Yeah, Bora has
Damn.
a ton of Australians.
Yeah.
But they are a German sponsor.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that's Dura Ace. I think it's exciting. What do you think?
I would also agree, Dura Ace for sure. For me, this is the most hype I have about something is to see Roglic on a new team, free to race as hard as he wants.
Right, on the tour. He wants to win the tour.
Yeah. And if he can stay on his bike and not be plagued by the bad luck that he's had in the past, I think it could be a really...
Hay bales jumping out in front of him.
Really exciting tour. So yeah, Dura Ace level hype for this one.
That's what he's gonna look like on that time trial.
Does the tour end on the time trial?
It does.
Shit, he's gonna be all fucking.
Yeah.
He's gonna be all worked up. All right, Keon Utebrooks. That's quite the name. I think I did an okay job of pronouncing it. He is moving to Visma Leasebike. This was a very drama-induced transfer that happened mid-contract for Keon. So he actually ends up showing up at the Visma Leasebike like team announcement before the whole thing's ironed out. They like iron it out later in the day.
Yeah.
And I think Visma basically, not only are they paying him, but they paid a bunch of money to buy out the rest of that contract. And there were weird stories of like bullying happening and a lot of back and forth. And it's just interesting that like he's from Bora.
Yeah.
So it seemed like this weird thing, like they wanted something back, but like Primos's contract was up. You know, he didn't like deserve anything. But it's very strange that like he just like leaves and says that he was bullied and is now on, you know, the arguably the best team in the world.
Yeah, he's a very young rider.
Yeah.
He claimed that at the Vuelta, the other his teammates made fun of him for weighing his food and being really disciplined.
And oh man, Visma eats that shit up.
Sort of odd, but yeah.
Yeah. So what do we think of ranking meter? Let's start with you this time.
I'm going to give this a 105 just because,
Okay.
yeah, with, you know, Keon, he's still a new rider.
Yep.
The Vuelta was his first Grand Tour and he did okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's like claims that his FTP or his watts per kilogram is higher than Remco's was when he was his age.
Oh. Well.
But I don't like hyping young riders too much.
Yep.
I think they still have a lot to prove. And I don't think it's fair to them as people to put that much pressure on a young athlete.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm going like 105, like mid, you know, kind of excited to have him on Visma, but they're also such a stacked team that he might just get lost in the shuffle there. So not
true.
super exciting.
True. BSP?
First off, I think I screwed myself with my Primos news being
Okay.
Ultegra.
Where you
because
going?
I was thinking like, are we saying that these rankings of 1 through 6 are like my hypest, if that's a word, story is Durace, or is it any potential story?
No, it's any potential story.
Okay, so that's why I went with Ultegra, because I would be
Yeah.
like, well, all right.
Sure.
For me, a Dura Ace
No,
might
it's any
be
potential
like,
story. It's not just based on
might
the
be
stories
like,
that we're about to talk
Sepp
about.
had a skiing accident and broke both his legs. He's not racing this year. That's going to be Durace.
You got to bleep that out. We can't put that out in the world. Do you think they let him
will.
ski? He has to like put on a disguise when he's home in Durango skiing.
I feel like he did. Didn't he post something about?
Well, his
I
father
think-
is like a former Olympic skier or something like that.
Oh, and his mother's a former swimmer, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Primos decides to go jump again.
Yeah. Just cross country skiing for you, Seth.
Or maybe it was like a whole team. I feel like I saw something about
together.
a whole team that did like cross country together or something.
Visma just goes and they speed skate because they have a speed skating team.
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for the Uche Brooks
Yeah.
like 105 because I do feel like it's pretty exciting because he is young. So he has, you know, there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah.
I already liked him, you know,
Yeah.
for my standards. His interviews and stuff seems like a really nice kid, seems like a good
Yep.
head on his shoulders, clearly a strong rider, and going to a team that we love.
Yeah.
So it's good news.
Yeah. Hell yeah. It is good news. Yeah, I'm same 105. And I think that honestly, I considered making it Ultegra because of how much it was like really strange. Like Visma reported on it, and then Bora said no, it's not happening. But then Bora's website also said it was happening. So it was just like very confusing and like interesting, but just seemed to be a very standard. Like, okay, this guy wants to get out of his contract, and the team's going to pay to do it. So, you know, one that I didn't put on here, but I'm gonna just throw it out there real quick. I didn't write down Matteo Jorgensen to Visma Leasebike, and I think that's huge.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm gonna rank that right now, Ultegra, because I think that he had a great season last year on a team that, frankly, compared to Visma, sucks. You know, and like doesn't have like. So I think Jorgensen can like really level up at a team like Visma Leasebike. So. Yeah, I'm giving him Ultegra. What do you think, Brian? The American.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another
I would,
2 Americans on Visma.
I just have to make it clear that my Primos jumps up to Durace. Jorgensen falls in at Ultegra.
Okay.
Because
You're just constant re-ranking. That's all right.
It's it's an American going on to the team we love. We already like him.
He's an American.
The only thing I worry about is like there are so many great riders and big names on Jumbo. I just hope that
he gets
hope
a
that
chance to
Jorgensen
shine.
gets his
Yeah, I think he will.
chances.
I hope he will. What do you think?
I want to go 105 just because, like what Brian was just saying, that it's not 100% clear to me how many opportunities he'll get and if he'll get slotted into more of a support role or not. But Jumbo is generally pretty good.
Yeah.
I should say Visma now is generally pretty good about giving everybody a chance to win. So, if Jorgensen can come away with a Tour de France win like he's been chasing for years now, it'll be super cool. Very exciting.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
So I want to talk about a team as a whole and Ineos, because I think that they just like, as the kids would say, fumbled the bag. Absolutely. Have just been fucking up left and right. They seem like they only held on to Geraint Thomas and which means Luke Rowe sticks around because they ride together so well. But Danny Martinez goes back to Bora. Pavel Sivakov is off to UAE. Ben Tullett goes to Visma. Teo Gegenhardt goes to Little Trek. So, I mean, like how I'm giving if I'm ranking the Ineos transfers, did G extend? He did for 2 years.
2 more years.
That's Sora. I'm going Sora. One below. Like I'm going. If G hadn't extended, it'd be a Claris move for Ineos as a whole. They have other good riders, I think, but they're really letting the future go. Like, let's be honest, G's old, right? Like 2 years is generous, and I mean he deserves it. He has won. I mean he came in second at the Giro last year. He could still contend. He's probably pissed that Pog's going to the Giro, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about Ineos? Cal, what do you think?
I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'll go Tiagra on this because I am such a G fan, and I do hope he can come back and have another good year, be competitive in one of the Grand Tours. And, Bernal, there's still questions if he can ever come back. And, hopefully Pidcock gets his shit together and is a little more focused.
Yeah, true. True.
So
I worry about Bernal.
It's hard to be hyped about a team that isn't super focused. It doesn't really seem to have direction. But even though they were kind of hated for years, now that they've been in a little bit of a slump, Ineos, they've got some individual riders that I kind of enjoy rooting for. So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, definitely around that same range. Probably Sora. Just because it feels like
They're just like
Potentially.
going through the motions.
Yeah,
It's weird.
potentially bad moves.
I mean, they
but-
can't be good. They can't be the best team forever. That's not what I'm saying. I don't really want to root for them. It's just like the moves that they're making are strange, I think. Yeah. Okay. And Quintana, he's back. Quintana is back on Movistar. What do you think about that, Brian?
I'm feeling like 105.
Wow.
Up there.
He's up there for me. I always liked watching him. I think he makes those climbs exciting.
But okay,
And
no,
to
you're
see
not
him,
wrong.
And to see him
I mean, you're not wrong.
back,
Yeah.
and then I don't know, it's some romantic in me or something. He's back
Okay.
on his old team. Yada yada.
All right.
I'm excited to see it. I want to see him up there contesting some big climbs in the tours.
Will he go to the tour? You think? Yeah, probably. What do you think?
I think I'm going to go Claris, actually. Pretty low here.
Yeah, same. I'm going Claris too.
I
Fuck
like it.
Quintana. Yeah.
There's been some questions about he's had some doping,
Very
allegations
questionable doping
around
allegations.
him for a little while, and it's hard for me to get hyped about Movistar at all in general.
Same.
If Alejandro Valverde was coming back, I'd be hyped.
Wow,
but
okay. Okay.
just to have another villain back in the peloton.
Yeah.
But no, Quintana,
Do you think there aren't enough villains in
Kinda
cycling?
meh.
Do you think there should be more
I think
villains?
we've got more now than ever.
Who's your number one villain when you think of villain in cycling? Who comes to mind? I've got someone.
Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Do tell.
It's Jasper Phillips. Yeah.
See, I was gonna go Vanderpool.
Vanderpool's a good villain. Yeah. But people love him.
I know, but they shouldn't. Like everybody forgets. Everybody forgets he pushed around a 13-year-old girl.
No, and like honestly, yeah, he did push around a 13-year-old girl, and he's like, I hate to like just talk about another podcast, but I listened to his interview on Garrett Thomas's podcast, and a lot of the times I listen to those and I'm like, oh, I like this guy more. Was not the case for Vanderpool.
Yeah.
It just was like, okay, that's his personality, you know? Like I didn't really get anything out of it. And yeah, I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good, but I'm not rooting for him. I am not rooting for him. But they're on the same team. They're like 1 and 2 for me, you know? Jasper and Vanderpool.
Yeah.
Maybe Cav.
I mean, there's some other big ones out there. There's Gianni Moscon, who has gotten in trouble for doing saying racist things to other riders, and certainly you're gonna have to bleep this, but
we can just name everyone on Little Trek. Well, I guess Tiberi's gone. He's off to Bahrain.
Oh, right.
But he shot a cat. Yeah, I mean, those are all kind of villains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skin. He really is he's really the one, I think. That's a good answer. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, he's up there. I'll have to bleep it again.
Yeah.
And it sucks to feel that way.
Yeah.
Because, we want to root for Americans. But,
sure. No, he sucks.
But yeah, I mean, Phillipson and Vanderpool are definitely up there. I think like Phillipson has a real like Mighty Ducks Iceland team look and energy about him, where it's just like,
wow,
yeah, this is a movie.
That is so accurate.
Jasper Phillipson is clearly Iceland.
Amazing.
That is so fucking accurate. Wow.
Right?
Yes.
And I feel like similarly to what you said about listening to interviews, like a lot of times you hear them speak and go off on different subjects, and you end up liking people more. Which kind of did happen to me with Vanderpool, with just like a short interview that he did with Matt Stevens.
Oh yeah.
And they just like ate cakes and stuff or whatever. They had like treats together. But I did not listen to the GTCC episode. Yeah. So I can't speak to that. But yeah, he doesn't. Yeah,
it's interesting.
He doesn't need me to like him.
Garrett Thomas is just Matt Stevens 2.0, which I think is great. But yeah, I don't know. I think G tried to get it out of him, but I'll have to watch that. I'd like to. I don't know. I wouldn't like to like him though. That's the thing. Like I don't want to like Vanderpool.
I think that's the feelings I had when I was watching. I was like, I don't want to like you.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when I was watching, and this is actually the next guy that we're going to talk about, Cav. When I was watching the Cav documentary,
yeah,
and the first couple like opening scenes of it, I was like, am I going to walk away from this liking Cav? And no, I did not. I walked away just with like more disdain for him for other reasons. Other reasons than it was like, it just like affirmed my thoughts and then like added other things to the checklist, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I mean, it was like a well done documentary. And obviously it was like highlighting this like last year, but he decided not to retire. So how would we rank that on the hype meter rankings? What do you think, Cal?
This is the toughest one for me to decide on because I was actively rooting against him at the start of the tour last year and not hyped at all that he was there. I thought he should have quit on a high note the year before when he tied Eddie Merckx's record. And then watching him in those sprints in the tour did make them more exciting.
Yeah.
Because I was always checking to see how he was with his positioning. He was getting better and better every sprint, getting closer. And then very anticlimactically, he crashes out and breaks his collarbone.
Yeah.
And obviously he came so close. And so it's natural that he wants to go back and try again. But am I hyped for it? No. I think I'm not like psyched that he's there or trying to beat the record. So I'm going to go Sora. I wouldn't go Claris just because I do think it'll make it a little more exciting, but I'm going to go Sora.
Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely similar.
Yeah.
Sora or Tiagra.
Yeah, Sora.
Just like, because I'm not excited to have so much,
there's going to be so
camera
much
time on
coverage about it.
him
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
like,
Can we just talk about someone else?
I want to hear about other people and see other people, but at the same time, if he can win and break the record,
No, I
then
think I'll be
that's
rooting against him.
huge news for cycling, and that's big
Yeah.
for the cycling world. So
That's true.
like, it would be a positive to have
That's
a huge story out there, but I don't want to watch him.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of guys that should probably retire, Caleb Ewan. He left Lotto and he was going to Jayco, which is an Australian team. He's an Australian guy. Did not have a great year last year. I'm going to give this a 105 because
Wow.
I like the Australia connection. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just I'm pining for a meal at the Outback Steakhouse, but I like that. And I think that's interesting,
Yeah, I do. Caleb Ewan's been down on his luck the past couple seasons.
Yeah, a lot of crashes last year.
And I am rooting for him to come back. He's come close in Milan San Remo a couple times, so it'd be great to see him perform well there and get that win. In terms of hype, though, just generally with any sprinter, I can't get
No,
that hype.
you're not that excited?
No, so maybe with
A lot of sprinter shakeups. What do you think about this Caleb Ewan leaving Lotto and going to Jayco? Basically, they have him and the other Yates brother and that one other dude. Who's that other sprinter? That they have another sprinter. Oh my God!
Groenewegen?
No, but yes,
Yes, but no.
yes, but no, I forgot about him. Okay,
He feels a little villainy,
yeah, he does feel villainy.
which if it was a different year, he would 100% be
Be the villain.
But
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, pretty. I like Caleb Ewan, but it's not that exciting for me.
Yeah.
I guess nice to see him on a
Yeah, but
Australian
we're not
team.
friends with him.
Maybe that'll change things, like schedule wise for him or motivation wise. I don't know. Maybe he'll have more family time in certain parts of the year or something.
Spending more time at the
Give him a little extra
Australian
motivation.
beach.
Get some wins that he's been trying to get these past 2 or 3 years. He's had such bad luck with injuries and crashes. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Tiagra. I don't know.
Thiago.
Pretty
All right.
middle of the road for that. Maybe even Sora.
Let's go through the rest of these. There was like 6 other sprinters that sort of shook it up. Let's go through them pretty quick and just rank them based on our hype meter.
Okay.
All right, because the next one I think is absolute trash, and I'm giving it a Claris right off the back. Alberto Dainese goes to Tudor, which is like, why is anyone going to Tudor?
Same.
You know?
Claris. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, Clars.
Okay, great. Then Fabio Jakobsen, he leaves Quick-Step and he goes to DSM, and DSM makes another big move with Sam Welsford. How do we feel about that combo? DSM, they have Roman Bardet. They don't really do much. What do we think about that? Is that exciting? No, Sora
No.
for me.
Yep.
Not exciting.
Yeah, I'll go Sora.
Yeah, sorry, DSM. So Arnaud Demar, he says bye to Groupama and leaves and goes to Arkea, which is like the worst team in terms of UCI points. They might have had the greatest jersey reveal, which we'll get to in a little bit, but I don't understand. It's never exciting to go to Arkea. I think he's an exciting rider, but I'm still going to give that a Sora.
Is that worse than going to Tudor?
I don't think it's worse than going to Tudor because to me Tudor's just like a development team, but.
Claris.
Claris,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Same, all the way down, bottom.
Sam Bennett to Groupama, maybe? Is that exciting? Is he too old or?
I don't know if it's exciting. I root for Sam Bennett because, like Caleb Ewan, he's been down on his luck, and I'd like to see him come back and get a few more wins.
Same.
But am I hyped that he's on Groupama? No.
Tiagra for me.
I'll go Tiagra.
Cal, you going to give it one?
I'll say Sora, slightly higher. Yeah.
All right, Jonathan Milan, who I used to love, now goes to Little Trek. So I'm going to absolutely give this a Claris. I wanted to root for him, and now I won't be rooting for him on that team. So, what do you guys think?
Agreed, Claris.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I really liked him, but it's not exactly exciting.
And
So-
Pascal. Oh, sorry.
So what's up with Trek? Aside from the rider who shall not be named, what's
What do you mean?
so bad about Trek? Why do we dislike Trek?
I don't really like the fact that they kept Tiberi. I really don't like. I think that's a big part of it. I know you said not to, but how do you not?
I'm trying to
how do you-
minimize my bleeping.
How do you not? How do you like avoid that? You know what I mean? I can't. I feel. I feel weird talking shit about Trek bikes because MBX carries Treks, but I do not like Trek bikes. I do not like what Trek seemingly did to the bike industry and like come up and gobble up little like local bike shops and then like essentially over like inundate them with inventory and then cause them to lose money and then sell the bike shops to Trek. I don't work in the bike industry, but that's what I read, and I think that sucks. So I don't like that brand. I also rode an Amanda, didn't love it. So it's sort of a mix of like politics and personal, and like they're sort of like a brand that was built on the back of another guy's name that I want you to bleep out, Lance Armstrong. So like, fuck them for that too. Yeah, they leave a really bad taste in my mouth for like a lot of reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you
Thoughts?
furthering it.
What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure I have thoughts, to be completely honest. I never really looked into them.
Yeah.
Aside from disliking the person
Yeah.
on the team now from our country.
I like Mads Pedersen a lot.
Yeah.
I like Mads Pedersen a lot. I think he's interesting. I think
Yeah.
he's fun to watch. He is not a
I
pure
agree.
sprinter. He can get over hills. He's fun. I like Mads Pedersen
Yeah.
a lot. And I hate to group everyone. It's not like everyone that rides a Trek is a bad person. You know what I mean? Like that's a wild thing to say.
Sure. Definitely not saying that.
No. But like,
But I just want to know, like,
they're like my villain
are they
team.
have they, as a business or corporation, like really done enough to just see them as a whole?
Well, if that was
a
the case,
villain,
then
to make
we-
him a villain as a whole versus just like, can we still root for specific riders on the team and like them? Because
Of course.
if that's the case, then I definitely still like Jonathan Milan,
Oh yeah, sure.
at least going forward. Same with Mads Pedersen. So.
Yeah. No, I mean you're not wrong. And
But
like,
it's certainly unfortunate news for us, and we don't have to like it.
no.
Yeah.
But I think like if we're judging like then like Israel Premier Tech, they're villains. You know what I mean? Like Bahrain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these
Ineos makes plastics.
yeah. Like it's all bad. It's all pretty bad.
Yeah.
Lisa Bike is okay, I guess.
This
What
looks
is
great.
what does Visma do? I looked this up recently. Is it like cloud computing or something?
I think that's right.
Yeah. Bora makes shower heads and tiles.
Or is that Hans Grohe?
Oh yeah.
I
One or
think
the
that's
other.
Hans Grohe.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought that up because my parents just bought one
Oh,
for a new bathroom that they
I thought
put
they were
in.
very European. I thought it was more European.
Yeah, it is, but
They ordered from Europe?
I don't know where they
Your
ordered it
parents are
from.
international, huh?
But
Parents are international?
Fancy.
it's really cool. That's a whole multi shower head setup, and it's cool. I
Remember those
used
Peter
it.
Sagan ads? Do you think we're going to get fun Primos ads of Bora like in the shower?
Totally.
In his kit in the shower? Is that what we want out of this transfer?
Wait a minute, Bora is kitchen design.
That's
Oh,
right.
so it was
Stuff.
Hans Grohe ad.
And then Hans
Okay.
Grohe is
Go-
bathroom.
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Kitchen and bath. Yeah.
It's nice.
I looked at the Bora stuff online one day on their website.
Uh-huh.
Very
Pricey.
cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool design.
All right, we have one more, which Pascal Ackerman, he goes to Israel Premier Tech from UAE, which I think is, fine. Claris. I'm not even looking at the rankings anymore. And then the women's tour, which I looked at, there were not nearly as many transfers. I think a lot of contracts are up at the end of this year. Annemiek van Vleuten does retire. And the EF thing. Did you hear about the EF thing?
Well, EF was, if I recall correctly, they were sponsoring two teams,
Yes.
two women's teams, and one of them folded.
Right.
And some of the riders went into the existing team.
Right. They basically merged teams, but the team that was bigger, the one like with Allison Jackson, was the one that was Tibco, and like that was the one that totally went under.
Right.
And then the same like management team from the men's side said like, okay, we're going to scoop this up, and so now they're just both EF education teams.
Gotcha.
And I think Cannondale might be sponsoring them more. Like it's sponsoring more.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But let's talk about the 2024 calendar really quick.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about Wout last. Let's talk about him first. And we talked about him last for 2023. Let's talk about him first for 2024. He's doing something different this year. Do we know what spring classics he's racing?
Probably the cobbled classics, because being Belgian,
Right.
That's what his home country's media cares the most about, is
Right.
him winning either Flanders or Roubaix.
Yeah. Yeah, which would be fun to watch. He's also definitely going to do the Giro. He's not doing the Tour, but he's going to focus on the Olympics, and then he's going to do the Vuelta. So I think that's pretty interesting. I'm giving that a Dur Ace.
Yeah.
I'm hyped on that. I want to see Wout have a good year, because I think he sort of fell short last year, even though he was obviously very successful. I'm giving that one Dur Ace. What do you guys think about Wout's schedule?
I agree. It's up there. There was a rumor a month or so ago that he's going to the Giro to race GC.
Yes.
And when that rumor hit, I was definitely at
But then it like got the
Dur
kibosh.
Ace hype level.
It was weird. Like then he was like, I'm going to hunt stages.
Yeah, it's unclear. And I think Kian Uterbrooks is now going
gonna
to
go to the Giro.
too, but I think he's still too young to try to like
Right.
win, maybe a top 10.
Right.
But to see Wout transform a little bit into a GC rider, it would get me hyped beyond belief.
Yeah, agreed.
And you know, he's getting a little bit older. I hate to say it. So yeah, I just have my fingers crossed for him, because I think he is a great rider, a great teammate, and really deserves to get more wins in his palmares. So
Yeah. What do you think, Brian? Wout's schedule for the next year? Excited to like follow him just as much as last year?
I don't really know his schedule, apart from what we just spoke
I think
on
those are
real
like
quick.
That's-
big
yeah. That's
things.
the big stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think I'm
Normally
excited.
he does
I'm
the
excited
tour, you know,
for
and
it.
he goes and he rides for Jonas. And
Yeah.
Jonas is definitely going to be doing the tour. So I think it's interesting that like he won't be there. Sepp
Yeah.
will be at the tour, I think, but won't be at the Giro this year. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm excited to follow him. I do really like him, and if
yeah.
if he can have success, it's going to be huge. Very exciting.
And so at the Giro, with Wout, Geraint Thomas is going back. Pog is definitely doing the Giro this year, which was like a big social media announcement that he made. And like you said, Kian Uterbrooks. So we don't know what Visma's going to do, but I'm obviously, I think all three Grand Tours are exciting. To me, the Giro is, I would say I'd put it in the middle of two if I ranked all three of them in terms of like if we're going away from our hype meter for a second, right? In terms of the three Grand Tours, I would put this year's Giro in the middle, because of Pog and Wout doing it.
and Vuelta last.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though hopefully Sepp tries to defend the Vuelta, I just feel like the hype behind that, for me at least, is the last. And the Tour would be first, because Remco's doing the Tour, Pog's going to be
Yeah.
there, Primoz will be there, and Jonas will be there on different teams. Sepp is going to be there as well. And I don't think like you necessarily need to count him out, especially if Jonas like is having a bad time or something happens. So I think the Tour is going to be super exciting. Brian, how would you rank those the three Grand Tours?
Yeah, I'd go same. Definitely Tour de France first,
Yeah.
Giro second.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's a mix. I don't know. It's hard to pick. I might actually go Giro last,
Yeah.
then Vuelta, then Tour.
Yeah.
Because the Tour is always the Tour. It's always going to be the most exciting.
Yeah.
But I tend to get more invested in the Vuelta. So just going off of like historically my viewership,
Yeah.
I tend to get really hyped on the Vuelta. It's hard
True.
to get hyped on it this far out because you don't know who's going to race it.
True.
As guys crash and things like that, they readjust their
Right,
schedules
for the
so
season. Yeah.
it's hard to know. But usually, I find the Vuelta to be very exciting. So I'm going to go Vuelta second and Giro last.
Cool.
But that being said, with Pog and his schedule doing the Giro Tour double, That's a very historical goal.
Yeah.
That's the kind of goal that would make history if you achieved it. Several riders have tried, like Chris Froome tried to do that, never accomplished it. No one's done it in the modern era. And so I'd go Ultegra level hype for Pog's schedule this coming year.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably stick the same Ultegra level. I mean, I'm excited. I like him a lot more now, so I think a year ago I would have considered him a villain and been like, I don't want him to win any of these things. I would not be upset if he won all of the races that he raced in. I mean, I just think he's a generational talent, and it's fun to watch what we're watching. So like, let him, go after it all and win. I don't think I think that's an interesting thing to talk about. Like, what are the races we like look forward to the most, or like wins that we want to happen the most? I don't know if I really have any, really. Like, I want Jonas to win the Tour, but I'd be happy if Pog won the Tour. I don't think I want Primoz to win the Tour. I guess if I really think about it, but
Primoz has never won the Tour.
He's never
Correct.
won the Tour.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want Jonas to win the Tour. Do a hat trick before Pog or not. I feel like I would.
Yeah. 3 years in a row,
and it's like
be huge.
Sepp won Vuelta, so
that's
a huge thing that we probably always wanted to happen, but assumed would never happen.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like all these things are all getting all checked off the list.
Yeah. Oh, and there are the Olympics, which are a week after the men's tour and a week before the women's tour, which I think, like, the Olympics are different. They're not quite Grand Tour level, like in terms of like the amount of effort that you're going to put out. It's almost like adding worlds, like in the middle of the season again.
Yes.
Right.
So
because it's just like a time trial and 1 day road race.
Correct.
National teams instead of trade teams.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same as Worlds, like no race radio.
Yep.
And the amount of riders a country has is based on
how successful they've been in the past, right?
Something like that. So
it is interesting. There's sort of I have seen some controversy about like countries sending riders that might not necessarily like be of the same level, because countries will just send riders and everyone like wants representation. Like, what do you think are the thoughts about that? Like, there are some countries out there that don't have cycling teams, right? They don't have cycling in the country for whatever reason, if it's a cost problem, if it's just a cultural thing, right? Like, but those countries still send riders.
Yeah, like the Vatican sent a rider.
Right.
Yeah.
But their riders probably similar to us. And you're out there racing against like Olympian, Pog and stuff like that. Wow. Like, is that fun? Because it sounds fun.
It's the spirit of the Olympics.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the whole Cool Runnings, the Jamaican bobsled team.
That's right. Yeah.
Anna Kiesendorf, the German woman who won the Olympics in Tokyo, was not on a trade team.
Right. She like had a profession. She like was a doctor or something, I think. Yeah.
So, absolutely.
I think it's cool.
Those people deserve to be there for sure.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting. And I'm going to give the Olympics are also in Paris, which means the end of the tour is going to be a little bit different because the Olympics are sort of getting in the way of the traditional end on the Champs-Élysées. And I don't know. I'm going to give the Olympics, I'm giving it a Durace because I think it's like a second Worlds, but I think it's an interesting part in the season that like, it just like creates this other thing in between the tour and the Vuelta, which is cool, or in between both the men's and the women's tour, so just like more cycling to watch. So that's Durace for me, more cycling to watch.
Absolutely.
What do you think, Brian?
Just as a whole, Olympics for me, and Winter Olympics more than Summer Olympics. But Olympics as a whole are generally always Durace.
Oh, you're a big Olympics guy.
I am. I just I loved it.
Watching 24/7 coverage.
I grew up watching every Olympics, and I just like.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Last Olympics was like a Winter Olympics, right? 2022. What did you really get into? Remember, it was a few years back, we were all really into curling.
Yeah, well,
I feel like
curling stayed pretty up there for me.
Yeah, it does it. Yeah. So was curling big for you in 2022?
Yeah, for sure.
What else? What else do you really love to watch? That's like
skeleton. 2-man bobsled.
Okay.
4-man bobsled, obviously they're going like just as fast, if not faster, right?
Yeah,
but it just doesn't like look as fast or something because it's so big.
Yep.
But yeah, it's still exciting.
Are you more of a bigger fan of
I didn't
winter?
expect to talk
Wait,
about
you like
Winter
winter
Olympics right
more?
now. Yeah. Oh, and then
That's
all
an
like
interesting take.
all
Not a lot.
like snowboarding stuff and
Oh, you're a radical dude.
so much stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, ski jumping. Nah, well, yeah, I do watch ski jumping, but it was more just a joke on Primos. But
Yeah, no.
yeah, I love the Winter Olympics, and a lot of people give me shit about even liking the Olympics at all.
I kind of think the Olympic organization is almost
I
as bad as
get
the
it.
ASO or the UCI.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
get it. I get why
They're
people
not-
shit on
it's
me.
kinda
about it,
corrupt.
but
Russian athletes should not be there. That's
Yeah.
absurd.
It's
but,
like very corrupt.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, I know.
It is
I
like
know.
interesting to watch.
but it's gonna happen.
true. The history
me
behind
watching it is not make or break for them doing it or not.
Very true. I'm
I
not
just-
saying
I
that you
like
shouldn't watch the Olympics. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. But some people do, and whatever. I still watch it.
You're right. It is quite the spectacle, and I think like the coverage alone is wild. There's like 24/7 coverage, like
Yeah.
on like all of the NBC
Yeah.
things, and
Well, not to plug anything because I don't give a shit, but I do enjoy it. I have YouTube TV, and that's unlimited DVR, so I just like
DVR the whole all the
fucking
Olympics.
record everything, and
You
then
have
I
the-
can just flip through and watch whatever I want to watch.
This guy's got the
don't have to
Olympics
catch it.
DVR through 2036,
wow.
don't you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Got
sure.
it scheduled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. Let's talk about kits real quick before we get out of here. So we're gonna hype. We can hype meter some kits, or we can just say whether or not they're trash or not. Let's just say whether or not they're trash.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to bring up the GCN link that we have, and we'll share this link in the YouTube description. This is like sort of updating. Not all kits have been revealed, but I also think not all teams are going to like update their kits. But basically, these go in alphabetical order. Some of them have pictures. The men's and women's teams are mixed. I'm going to start with the AG Insurance Sudal one, which is at the top of the page.
White and blue.
It's white and blue. It's so boring. It's just
Boring.
the women's quick step team, essentially, Sudal team, but very boring. I'm giving it a trash. Yeah.
Did you say trash?
Yeah, trash.
Which group set is that?
It's no group set. We're saying trash or
Sorry. I thought we
you'd
were
rock it. You'd rock it or you donate it.
Don't.
I wouldn't. I don't want to rock any pro kits, to be perfectly honest. I would not rock this. Alpecin, which isn't changing.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
We haven't seen a new one yet.
That kit is whatever.
Wait, are you flipping through the article, or are you looking at that top picture?
I'm just going down in alphabetical order. I'm going to Archaea next.
Gotcha.
So Archaea had an amazing King Arthur revealing sword. Arnaud Demar pulling the sword out of the stone. Their kit is Cal. You mentioned the coolest part about it, and there's all these like little. I think you mentioned it in the text message started like a few weeks ago when this one first came out. All
you
the
did say
cool
something
little
about it.
logos that are on the left shoulder side. That's like all these different crests. Like they seem to be. I don't know. Archaea is a French team.
Yeah.
Why are they going with King Arthur?
So that's what's weird.
That is weird.
It is not a bad kit.
No, it's not bad.
It does stand out because it's red. It's not white and blue like everything else
Right.
in the pro peloton right now. I think the design is actually quite good, but the photo shoot it looks like something like a nerdy middle schooler would do for
Yes.
their.
One of the first movies I ever shot on mini DV tape was like this was like the same setting, just the woods.
in the woods with a sword.
Yeah.
It's like a shitty cosplay wedding
Yes.
photo shoot.
It's like exactly. It's very strange.
But I'm not sure why a French team would go with English
Yeah.
folklore mythology.
But yeah, it's a fine kit.
But it's not a bad kit. So
I don't really like it.
Fine.
Sorry.
No, it's. I mean, it's not nearly as exciting as the next one, which is Astana Kazakhstan, which even though it is an all blue kit, and even though we got Mark Cavendish, showing it off here, I do think it's a unique design. It's kind of similar to the one that they had from last year, but like more toned down. And I think I liked last year's, but it was a bit much. This one is interesting. It's
keeps
also just blue, which kind of sucks, but it is interesting.
It keeps that touch of
Yes.
the design from last year's.
Yeah, according to them,
Big, like,
veins of
marbleized
mineral
is
stones.
There
Kazakhstan
you
like
go.
a big mining country? Is like
It must be. It must be. They're bringing the mines.
anyway. I hate Astana. Hate the kit. Not a fan.
Okay, no problem. We got more white and blue, but more white than blue in the next one. Bahrain Victorious. They really changed their look They had a lot of like red last year, if I remember correctly. And now they're all white with blue on the sleeves. Not bad, but really not great.
Yeah, not sure
Couple
how
of-
this-
They were like blue, darker blue, orange,
Yes.
and red.
Yes. And now they no
Now
more
it's like
orange and red.
white with a little bit of
Yeah.
light blue.
might make it kind of hard to distinguish
I think it's
them from
boring.
the other teams. So
It looks
Yeah.
a lot like the UAE. I'm not UAE. Sorry.
Well,
Oh my God,
It
Israel.
looks like a lot of
it
like
does
other
look like
teams,
Israel
yeah.
Premier Tech, but it also looks like what UAE did. But we'll get to them in a second. Bora Hansgrohe is next. I like this changeup.
Love it.
They
I do
added
like
this
it a
like
lot.
high vis yellow to like
Mm-hmm.
one of the shoulders, and I do think it's nice. It's like a pale green, but it looks like a high vis, like a toned down.
Yeah, toned
High
down.
vis
high
yellow.
vis.
Yeah, I like the
I like
block,
it. I like the
Yeah,
blocking
the
of it.
block patterns and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, big fan.
Yeah, I really like that one. Couple of other teams that hadn't really changed much. Cofidis, it's up basically the same. It's just red. It's just red with letters. There's like a video.
Making us watch a video.
I'm not gonna watch the video.
Oh yeah. Same
Okay,
as-
they ride looks. It's the same old thing. Black shorts and red. It looks exactly like friggin' Archaea. Sucks. Now, this is a big change in more terms than one. We got Decathlon AG2R, La Mondiale. I'm definitely not saying all that right. No more brown bibs. No more red. Still diagonal, but more blue and white. Light blue and white.
Yeah, we should have. Can you like cut in some taps music or some kind of somber music as we have a moment of silence
Yeah.
for the brown
Moment
shorts?
of silence for the brown shorts.
Now,
Thank you.
Brian, you famously loved the brown shorts. I will say brown shorts grew on me so much to the point where I am upset that they're gone. They should
People-
still be there.
People hated them, but as soon as they were gone,
Yep.
we all missed them.
Yep, 100%. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry because they should. I wish they were back, and I wish they were still. They would have worked okay with this blue. They would have maybe made them stand out from the other, like the Bahrain, which is like blue and so kind of boring.
I like the diagonal. I agree.
Yep.
But I like the old kits. I like the brown.
Me
I like
too.
the lettering with the little pop
AG2R
of
was
red
big.
on
Yep.
it.
Yep.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I feel like it made me think of oh gosh, what's the Hornets?
Charlotte Hornets?
No, like the fighter jets that are like
Oh.
white, black, and red.
Yes,
I know it's
yes,
not
yes.
brown, but white, black, and red.
Uh-huh.
It's just something about it, like the ratio of the colors with a little bit of red, made me think of.
Yeah.
made
This
me
one
think of
is
them.
just
It's
not.
I don't
great.
think it's Hornets, but I can't remember. Maybe it is.
Yeah. The DSM one that now they have post NL and Firmenich or whatever. I saw a picture of it. It's not. It's so bad.
It's like a light blue and white with some like white
And like orange.
balls, some white weird balls, and then like some orange stripes.
Yeah, it's not good. It's like really bad. It looks like it was made in just like Photoshop in 2 seconds. EF Education, no new design yet, and they usually have great kits, which I think is interesting. Does the other link have them? EF?
No, I think they are just holding out to be the last ones to
Gotcha.
to drop theirs.
Gotcha. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Ineos, now they have Gobic instead of Castelli, which is interesting. And I like this kit design. I like the sort of vertical gradient that they're going with here, from orange over to black on the other side. And I mean, G rules. Look at them.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
I like orange kits in general.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but yeah, it'll stand out. So
Yeah.
points for that for sure.
Yeah. Intermarché hasn't changed much.
Intermarché was designed by Sticycle.
Yeah,
Sticycle.
which is so cool.
I think there was
Yeah.
a picture of that on the other.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. They got rid of
Is that the new one?
That is the new one because they got rid of the Gobert part underneath Wanty because of some Belgian can't advertise gambling deal or something like
Okay.
that.
They still have a lot of sponsor logos.
There's so many
on
sponsor
their
logos.
jerseys.
It's
You know that
just so
team
much.
is
Yeah.
I do
getting
like
held
it.
together by.
I like
I
the
like
blocking.
it more now than it was before.
I like the blocking of it. I do
I'm
like
not-
it. I
I
think
don't
Steichel
love it.
does a great job. It's like a really fun Instagram account, Steichel Design. They do remixes on a bunch of different jerseys. The next one, we have Little Trek, which honestly, it looks like a play school, like a Playmates blocks set like that you get for like your kid or something. I don't like it. And the little is too big. The Lidl is too big. Like, it's just really strange. It's on there just like insert a circle in a square like 5-6 times. It never changes size. It's always the same size. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I hate this fucking team. I hate them.
I think I like the mix of the colors,
Yep.
but I don't like the design at all. I feel like I remember we talked about it last year.
Yeah,
And it
because
feels
they
like-
changed mid-season.
Feels like superhero-y or something.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
don't care for it. Oh, Movistar. Guess what? It's blue with a white M on it.
Pretty much the same as
Pretty
always.
much the same. They are
It's just
doing
more
a
like
nice
little-
a nice gradient at the bottom.
There's like these fine details
Yeah.
in there that sort of are buried a little bit.
But I will
which
tell
is-
you, this photo shoot with which why I know what they're called. Those are called quasar light tubes that are behind them, and you're not seeing the friggin' detail on the thing.
Yeah.
And who is this? Enric Mas?
Yeah.
And who's the
Yeah,
other
on the
dude?
left.
Who's the other guy?
Not
Not
sure.
Quintana, right?
No.
No, definitely not Quintana. Now I want to talk about SD Works, the women's team. They got one of the best kits going.
Consistently.
So consistent. This one is pretty good, and I just think like they do such a good job. And speaking of not a good job, the next one is Soudal Quickstep, which they had this wild video with Julian Alaphilippe lip syncing Celine Dion.
Yes.
But they did nothing to change this kit, but they like said it's different. It's not different.
Also designed by Steichel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think it's Steichel, but I could be
Steichel.
wrong.
You're right.
Yeah.
I always want to say Steichel, but
Or is
yeah.
it Steisel? Like
Steisel, yeah.
bicycle? I don't know. I think it's Steichel, but yeah, it's one of those things that you just see on your phone. You never really say it out loud.
Right.
They didn't have like from these pictures. There's like a little bit of a fade from the
Yeah.
quick fade from the blue to white, and
you
I feel
just
like that
think
wasn't there before.
Oh, it was just like a straight line?
I think so.
Okay. Visma Lisa bike is the next one. Honestly, I think it's boring.
Well, yeah.
It stands out because it's yellow, and it also allows them an opportunity to make a fun jersey for the tour. And I like both of those things. I like that it's different. But it's just like I don't know, maybe it's just the shade of yellow that seems too like off just like a plain old color palette. I think the design of their bikes are better. Their bikes have like more of that like goldenrod element to the yellow, and this yellow is just like bright yellow, like primary color yellow. I do like the hexagons. I don't like the color yellow. Yeah.
I'm a fan. I think it stands out more. I love the bikes. I think the bikes look
bikes are sick.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
The bikes have that same hexagon pattern on them. So UAE, very strange move. Just remove all of the black.
just pure white.
It's just all white. There is like this new color, like the colors of like the UAE flag at the bottom, the green, the red, and the black, but really not that exciting. And everyone is just joking about the fact that like now that Pog can't wear white, he's just going to wear white, which is
boring.
fine.
It's boring.
They will stand out, I will say, as opposed to those ones that are like half blue and white, but like they're not that much better than the ones that have a little bit more blue on them. And we've just done it again. A couple of years ago, it was all red, and now it's just like all light blue. Like, what the hell is happening? I don't know. It's really not doesn't seem like a great year for designs. I will say of the changes, Bora stands out the most.
Yeah.
And
think so.
I think theirs is the biggest upgrade. And I will say the biggest downgrade is, and I'm not going to say Trek, even though I want to. I'm going to say it's AG2R is the biggest downgrade
Yeah.
because they just adopted the half blue, half white, and now there's no brown bibs. So no thanks. And I'm going to give Archaea a nice try because the photo, they at least were like, well, let's do something different. It's just like it was just wrong, you know. Yeah.
Nice try.
Yeah, nice try. So, yeah, what do you think?
Say to end things here. Do you each want to make one wild prediction for
Oh.
2024?
Yes, I'd love to make a wild prediction. You're really putting me on the spot because I don't have anything in mind. Do you have something in mind, or should we take a second to think about it? Does
I got
anyone
one.
have something? You got one?
I got one.
All right, what is it?
My wild prediction: the tour's for the first time in like 20, 30 years, the tour is ending with a time trial in Nice this year. My wild prediction is that Primoz Roglic wins the tour on the last day, comes from behind like he did in the Giro.
To beat
and
who?
wins the tour.
Don't say it.
To beat
Jonas
Remco.
or Pog? Who?
To beat Sepp because Jonas crashed out. Sepp became
Wow,
the
that's
leader.
a huge I like that. That's a good prediction. You should put money down on that because that's like 1,000-to-1 odds or something.
So my tour podium is going to be Roglic, Sepp, Remco.
Wow, Pog's not even on the podium. Okay.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah. yeah, Remco wouldn't be on the podium.
Yeah,
it would be.
awkward. What do you think? You got any wild predictions?
Well, I was gonna say Jonas crashes. Tour. Sepp wins.
Sepp wins the Tour. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Sepp wins the Tour?
Yep.
Okay. Cav does not get a stage win at the Tour.
Okay.
He does not. Jasper cleans up again. And Cav gets no. I guess that's a negative prediction. And I'll give one positive prediction. Matteo Jorgensen does win a stage of the Tour.
Awesome.
I think that would be great. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Sepp win a stage of the Tour too, to be honest. So yeah, all right. Thank you guys. Looking forward to the season.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna start the year off right, putting this episode out right as the year goes, and yeah, Tour Down Under in a little bit, and we'll hope to talk about the season as it unfolds on a more regular basis. So cool. Thanks, guys.
Right on. Thanks,
Thank
John.
you.
Bye. We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.